Okay, so you see all these kind of different workout plans out there, and you're struggling with which workout plan is good for me, or what should I actually create. I personally struggled with it as well during my calisthenics journey. But I've been fortunate enough to have spoken to so many athletes, such as Kanton Kuba, Dr. Yat, Dailong, Ilyes, um, some of the greatest athletes out there, and to be able to also um, see their point of view of how you should train. And I truly studied every single thing, about what way they performed, and I've created a sort of a table of several different ways of how to approach creating your workout plan. And in this video, I'm going to show you the several different ways in which you can make a workout program for yourself. Number one is the way that you want to train as frequently as possible because you truly enjoy the sport. And that way is that some people, they train every single day, but they lower the volume. So they, for example, do lesser sets, lesser exercises. They try to keep the volume lower, which means you can almost basically train every single day because your body adapts to the stress that it's been put to, because you've been only doing it a fraction of the amount that you normally should train. So you're doing fewer sets, fewer reps, and you train every single day. But of course, you should not train more than half an hour if you do that. That is one way of the way people approach it. It's a very popular way of training in France. In France, a lot of athletes they focus on constantly putting small amounts of stress on your body, so you adapt. And they also believe that you should do that without always doing a warm-up, because your body naturally needs to adapt to it as a kid tries to learn how to walk. You gradually adapt to it, and you don't necessarily need to do a warm-up before you start your workout, because your first set starts to become your warm-up. Your body is so ready for it that it doesn't necessarily need it. If you think in your mind that you don't necessarily need that warm-up, your body will adapt to it and thinks that it actually doesn't really need that warm-up, and it will try to provide as much strength to adapt to it. Another way of training, which I've seen a lot of athletes do, is the 3-day-a-week training. It mainly consists of training 3 days a week, because once you train 3 days a week, you manage to have a rest day in between every single day. Sometimes you switch it up and you have 2 days after each other that you train, but because of that, you get to rest 2 days within the same week. Personally, I've seen that most people, what they do is that they work out on Tuesday, then they work out on Thursday, and they work out on Sunday, which means you have a rest day between each day, which is ultimately preferable, because your body rests for at least 24 hours. Mind you, the people that do that, they always tend to do some of grease the groove, or some shocking the body. So for example, if you train Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday, what happens? You do on Monday, for example, a random set of a front lever or a planche, whichever skill you try to learn. You adapt yourself to be ready for training even outside your workouts, because otherwise your body gets used to only being able to be strong at Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. And the body is really smart. It adapts to what it's been asked for. And if you lightly shock it outside of the days, it adapts and you will be strong at most of the days. Even if it's not your workout day, you will still become strong because your body needs that. But that being said, you're not allowed to do it too much because you will tank your workouts. Because if you do too much, for example, on the Monday and Tuesday is your real workout, you will be, of course, very exhausted. So you have to find for yourself the level of stress you can put on yourself. Like, for example, if you can do like a 10-minute or like like a 10 seconds full planche, you should know that on that Monday you should only do like a 2 to 3 seconds full planche, because 10 seconds is your max and you need to try to keep the volume like a little bit more down. Or you can go for like an advanced stick for like 7 to 10 seconds, because it's a lot easier for yourself. You have to keep in mind that your body needs to be able to adapt to it. And with that method, you could also adapt grease the groove, which means that you do it several times a day. You can also do that, but note, if you do that, your body will eventually reach a point where your nervous system is cooked, because you're doing several times a day of grease the groove. For those of you that do not know grease the groove, it means you try an exercise at the beginning of the day. You try it at 12, then again at 3, again at 6, but you gradually lower the seconds that you're holding it or the reps that you're doing, because depending on which you want to adapt to grease the groove. So that's also a way to approach it next to the 3 days a week, but it really depends on how you do it. And then you also have the programming of those that they just train whenever they feel right. They reached the level where you can truly feel and have sorry. You truly have the point where you know your body so well that you go to the gym, and based on how you feel, you decide whether you want to train, yes or no, or whether you should train. But that is something that you genuinely have to learn, and which I do not recommend for beginners. Because the thing is, sometimes your body feels stronger than it actually is, recovered. Because you can sometimes train with fatigue and still be strong while being fatigued, is because it doesn't show it, because your muscles are sometimes rested well, but your nerves are not fully rested out. So you have to check it out whether you're able to do that. If you choose it, do know that you have to really know your body quite well, because then you can just go to the gym, you do a set, you see how it feels. If it feels good, you start doing a workout. The downside with this is that you don't necessarily have those strict days where you know that even though you're weak, you still have to train to get out the basic reps to build up that volume, because of course every single one has days where they are weak. It is just normal. Every calisthenics athlete has that. But sometimes on those days, you're still very well rested, but you need to do some light stuff because it's in your deload. And okay, so you have these 3 methods of the way of training. But then you also need to know that there's a way of thinking about deload. Some people believe that a deload means you're not allowed to train for several days. Other people think that a deload means, okay, you still have a few workouts in the week. Like, for example, you train 3 times. Now you train 2 times in a week. And you lower the reps and sets. Other people believe that a deload should mean that you're doing a fraction of your workout on the same days that you're actually training. So you just take a step back and actually do the same routines, but you do fewer reps, fewer seconds. You try to really feel how your body feels. You're not trying to push it too much. because if you decide to go along with the actual deload that, or like you keep training during the deload, your nervous system will get tanked, and what happens is you make progress, you plateau, and what do? You put some extra stress on your body, which is already like plateauing, which is nuking yourself and making sure that you either get injured or you're not making any progress anymore. Okay, I've told you some stuff about like different ways of training, which I've heard. And of course, there are some more ways, but these were the main ones that I've heard about and that worked for most people. The thing is, you have to know that each person is different. That something worked for your friend doesn't necessarily mean that it works for you. If you see some fucking, I don't know, like 17-year-old that can train every single day and still be adapted and make progress, it doesn't mean that your body is that way. Your genetics, your level is different from how you actually are as a human being. Like, I am different than another person that I can train every single day is because my genetics are that way. It doesn't mean that you should do the same. You have to find what works best for you. And the only way to find out is to try everything out for at least a couple of weeks. But the important thing is that within every single workout plan that you make is that you need rest. No matter how stubborn you are, most athletes will always be stubborn in the beginning. They will be like, oh, fuck it, I will train every single day because I feel like I'm making progress. But that's the way you're going to destroy yourself. Even though you're not doing it currently, you will eventually destroy yourself because you won't be able to fix some little problems and do some conditioning work, which you actually need to adapt. Some people have it with their joints, struggles. They will have differences in like length of muscles. Some people have like a planche, but they have it like this. They will have like a one-arm handstand on one arm, and on the other arm, which happens is that their muscles around their ribs get shortened, and whenever they do like a Maltese, you see a Maltese like this. Trust me, if you have that, you cannot fix that very easily. It takes years, and sometimes it's not even fixable anymore. So, mind you, watch your own level, progress at your own like speed, and try to find out what works best for you. Try all the methods and see what works for you. If you need any help, you can DM me on Instagram. I answer like all questions for free on Instagram. I have the same name on here as on my Instagram. Feel free to DM me with any questions. Of course, I'm not like gonna make full workout plans for you guys, but I will definitely answer any questions that you have, any tips, like anything small. I will definitely try to help you out. Well, that was the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions about the workout plans, shoot me a DM at Instagram and I will respond to it as quickly as possible. See you guys in the next video.